Oh, sorry. Yeah. So that, like, years later, that's way for someone.
It was really hard to be sitting in the back row. He stresses me
Okay,
out.
we'll have a sound check here. Dave Fisher, council member on the phone. Just want to do an audio check with Dave. Sure that our audio is on.
You're muted. You're unmuted.
Just a robotic voice.
Sandy, would you have Dave's text? Here it is.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
There we are. Yes, we can hear you, Dave. How about us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great, thank you. All right, welcome to the Atkins City Council meeting for October 8th, 2024. Thank you all for coming out tonight. We do have Dave Fisher, council member online. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll begin with the roll call. And we'll call Jim Kane,
Present.
Trevor Dursky.
Present.
EJ Bell,
Present.
Samantha Peterson,
Present.
David Fisher.
Present.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, item number 2 on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
I looked at the one.
And we're gonna read the adjusted.
On the agenda.
Yep, got it. Second.
Okay. Motion by Peterson, second by Dursky. All right. For the discussion. Okay, hearing none, roll call vote. Jim Kane,
Aye.
Trevor Dursky.
Aye.
EJ Bell,
Aye.
Samantha Peterson,
Aye.
and David Fisher.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, item number 3, a public hearing will be held on the Atkins Fire Station project plans and specifications. So at this time, we will note that it's 6:33 p.m. We'll open the floor for a public hearing. And that's an opportunity for the public to speak on the project. And we'll first call for any written or email comments.
And we'll receive.
None received. Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll open the floor to the public for their comments and ask that indicate your desire to speak. We'll call on you, state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak to the council. So would anyone like to speak tonight? Okay. Yes, John?
I'd like to speak.
Okay, John, if you'd like. John Rinderneck?
I want to know what version you picked now. What's the revised design look like?
Yeah, we've got the plans and specs on the table here, so it's the fire station as designed, minus the 8 feet on the south with the parking lot. The existing parking lot mostly intact, but enhanced so that we can get firefighter parking. And then there's an alternate for a return drive to the back of the station for the fire trucks.
And so all the linen for the glass doors.
The doors have 2 sections of glass in them for visibility out, and then the rest is insulated metal panel.
I don't think the original design had all glass doors.
It did, but we,
What happened and how much of that he done with it then?
I'd have to look back at our cost opinion of.
I mean, we understood, really interested to hear about that. And it's a senior station didn't have one of them glass doors, full glass doors, and it's so quick.
Yeah. I think we got some good news for later on this evening, so,
Prices came in good.
yeah, we'll get to
We
that.
should have left the whole thing, should have left it like it was then. Good fire would have been enough. So all we do is take 3 months here and design the version here, now we're not started yet, we could have been well underway. We pitched around and delayed this for a redesign, when we had a good design there to start out with. So I'm not real happy with this. Since the prices came in good. That's all I had to say.
Anyone else have a comment? Council? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. And move on to consider a resolution approving the proposed contract documents, that's the plans and specifications, form of contract and estimated cost for the Atkins Fire Station project.
So, yeah, we have the resolution here in front of us. The bids are in. So I mean, I'll make a motion to,
There are 2 resolutions. This one's just approving contract documents, and the second one is award. If you look at your agenda,
do we have, how is the, yeah, what's the resolution? I don't have a copy of the first one. It's in the packet.
it's,
It's in the packet.
it's required by law. They're
Yeah.
approving the plans and specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost. It's part of the filing. I don't know, you can explain better with the,
Sure, yeah, basically the first resolution is to approve the plans, that were produced and that were bid upon.
Again,
Right, this is the.
you set the
formal-
public hearing, you hold the public hearing, then you approve
This is
the
like-
plan and stuff. And, I think actually it was Nick that.
we already approved the design to go out to bid. Fair enough. Make a motion for this first resolution.
The reason the contract documents are at this point is so that they could issue addendum during the bidding process. So there were 2 addendum issued and they were acknowledged by bidders. So you're approving tonight the plans and specs with those 2 addendum that went through the bidding process.
Okay. I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the resolution approving the plans and specs? Okay, hearing none, roll call vote would be Jim Kane,
Aye.
Trevor Dursky.
Aye.
EJ Bell,
Aye.
Samantha Peterson,
Aye.
David Fisher.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we're moving on to the resolution approving the award of the Atkins Fire Station project. And this is the work that bids were received today at 2 p.m. here in Atkins City Hall Council Chambers. And we have the results with the recommendation. Yep. So
Yeah, I can just-
we'll ask Hal Buck, architect, to present his letter.
All right, so I have before you our letter of recommendation with the bid tab. So that tabulates all the bids that we took today. And we did verify with the lowest bidder that they're good with their number. So we do recommend award to Garland Construction of Belle Plaine, Iowa. Their base bid was $3,320,000. And the alternate number was $56,000. Since these were below our cost opinion of $4.51 million, we recommend taking the alternate as well for a total of $3,376,000. If you look at the bid tab, you can see there were 11 bidders. Base bid with alternate, the next lowest was Foreman Construction. There were less than $3,000 difference between the two. So we're really pleased with the results. They were tight bids, they were close bids. I think we had good timing, so we had really favorable numbers. So we would highly recommend proceeding with the project. You guys have any questions for me?
The only one that I got is, that's what we were talking about, that was to be so far off. I think that's the hard part, so
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
I agree. It was a lot of competition, so I think,
Yeah.
This is,
And
it
in
worked
my
out
world,
favorably.
working at the bank, I've seen a lot of it going on, and we have a lot of construction clients, and they've been telling us about it.
Yeah.
It's nice to see it worked in our favor.
Yep, indeed. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Al.
Motion to approve.
Okay. Resolution. Motion to approve resolution. Motion by Dursky,
I'll second.
second by Peterson. Any further discussion on the resolution to approve?
Hopefully we can all see it the same way we were able to get most of the original design. It was a tough road to get here, obviously, prior to even me getting on the council, prior to the council member that came on before me, or the last election cycle, so it's been a long process. Understand for firefighters and their families, that's been a tough wait for this. I think we've finally delivered something everybody can live with. Hopefully, it's going to be a great building. It still has the size for the future. Anything that was taken out of it in terms of size or function or capability is still available. What I'm thinking there is the mezzanine piece. Obviously that's still available to be built out, or extra storage. There's a lot of functionality with this building. There's extra bays that we can grow into, extra offices that we can grow into. So to come in then at, let's say 3.4 million, where net out insurance and FEMA, and we're talking about probably a bond issue that is below the lowest we even considered in our scenarios.
No, I agree.
And so carry it forward a few years, we have now a net gain, a net available TIF for all the other work that the city needs to get done. Obviously, they'll have to work with the rules regarding TIF and being a district and all that, but this is a very, very favorable outcome for us. And I just appreciate everybody staying engaged, staying involved, seeing it through, and hopefully this is something the town can really feel good about going forward.
Yeah, I just want to say same thing. I know one of the biggest
things that the town residents was saying to me was trying to keep it minimal for tax purposes for them. I mean, we're gonna, well, keep it out of their hands and into TIF and have extra, so that it takes it out of their hands. And then I was happy to see this came in so low that we were able to get that return apron. So I was actually worried about it. It did come high to get that, and I know that was really one of the main things. And that makes me happy because it keeps this, all this concrete that looks like brand new, really off of it for the most part.
Right.
So, you know, so I'm extremely pleased with what we got. So I think the market's kind of held in our favor. So it's gonna be nice to see the firefighters get this finally, so.
Any further discussion?
I guess I'm just ready to take this step forward, and there's been a lot of people involved and a lot of moving parts, and it's been a long road to just reiterate that. So, thank you to Al and the team as well. And I'm optimistic now that we're here and we're able to take this step forward. So I think it's going to be a building that we can all be proud of. Thanks to everybody involved.
Okay. All right. Calling for the roll call vote. Jim King.
Aye.
Trevor Dursky.
Aye.
EJ Bell.
Aye.
Samantha Peterson.
Aye.
David Fisher.
Aye.
Motion carries. And I want to take the opportunity to thank the Fire Station Design Committee that worked a couple of years on this at least, and the different architects we went through during that process. There were several involved, and the engineering team that presented during those episodes too. So I want to thank those folks, the fire department as well, for reviewing things ahead of time and getting us some good comments on the ideas and concepts in those early days. So appreciate everybody's help with that. Great. So then we move on to the consent agenda and ask for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second, anyone?
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay. There you'll see the additional the CDBG grant payment coming out for one of the workforce housing homes. I have another one closing on Friday, so that's all good news. At this time, I'll have a roll call vote. Jim King.
Aye.
Trevor Dursky.
Aye.
EJ Bell.
Aye.
Samantha Peterson.
Aye.
David Fisher.
Aye.
Motion carries. And moving on, item number 5, a resolution approving contract amendment number 2, Southern Line Architects for construction staking for the fire station project in the amount of $15,000.
I can speak to that briefly, so it's,
Thank you.
and Nick can back me up on this if you'd like, but it's basically normal course of business to have, this proposal is for Snyder and Associates to do the construction staking for the fire station project. So they hold the controls of where the building gets built, where everything, how it all gets tied into the existing. So that's, again, normal course of construction to have, it's best practice to have the engineer do it because they've got the files, they're really in charge, and that it's their responsibility to make sure that it is tied in and accurate with the drawings. Is there anything you want to add?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, thank you, Al.
Did I see a spot where that's for your fees?
It does, it's a contract amendment on the solid line contract. Snyder is a sub for solid line, in this case, not our city.
So essentially, since they're under us, we're just basically passing it through.
Sure, yeah, but it's adding to the 206,600 on the original contract.
Right, yeah, this will be an amendment, so it's an addition to. And that's something that construction services are usually handled after the
Yeah,
award.
yeah, at least with our contracts, typically we do construction services post bid, just so we know who the contractor is and what the city's expectations are. In this case, construction staking is something that's in there regardless, just because it's required, or that's all contractors require it. So either we do it under our contract, or they go hire somebody and they have to take all of our information and interpret it, and everything runs smoother. We just do it under our contract, and so we have all the files. We can, there's no loss in translation, if you will.
Where on this estimate would this fall in? 15,000?
It would fall into the ancillary under the professional fees. So it would be in addition to the fees that are already on that sheet.
So I really don't want to force the point, but I
Sure.
feel compelled. I see printing, I see testing, I see furniture, I see contingency. Professional fees are 206,600 plus 39,760, and there's no 15,000.
Yeah, this would be in addition to that, so by rights, it should be a third line item. It's something that just came up during the bid process. So it's at the end of the day, somebody's got to locate the building on the site. And that's something that either contractors can do, they hire somebody to do it. And then like Nick said, you can get into that finger pointing scenario a little bit, or contractors can hire Snyder to do it, which then they'll put the markup on, or basically you can hire Snyder to do it and not have the markup. But it's a function of construction that needs to happen.
Well, I don't disagree with you there. I'm not telling you how a building needs to be built.
Sure.
I'm asking, why is it not itemized in the fees? Right?
Right.
Why doesn't it come out of the 206,600?
I guess the point is like, why would you not know that need to be there the whole time? I guess that's.
We made a decision not to have the bidders bid it because we wanted to do it on the city's side instead of the contractor side. Could you have asked us before which way it was going to go, but we answered that question during the bidding process. Otherwise, we would have come in on the bids today and we wouldn't have had control over the staking.
This is how we've run it for as long as I looked through all the records for all the projects we've done here in Atkins, and this is how it's always been run this way. We've never provided construction fees up front. So I guess I can't speak to how Alan and his group are running their contract or how they've done it, but for how Snyder has done their contracts, the fees for construction have always done post-bid.
So how many more of these do we have? Not covered by the contingency. Do we have additional work?
For us, we shouldn't have anything, so I
I think the
can't.
question would be solid line. Do you
Right,
expect
yeah.
other addendums to your contract?
No,
to
I
get through
don't,
the process?
I don't have any other amendments anticipated.
So an example though, Councilmember Jersey is in the, I think it's in today's claims, Terracon testing is another expense that's outside of what you've seen here, and it would show up under that testing for $20,000. So we have a contract with Terracon for, I think, $7,000, and we've been billed for $4,900 of it. I think we got the second bill, but that was for that borings that we talked about earlier. So, I mean,
Even that is a category we had, but if I understood you correctly, it came in higher than what we listed here.
No, it's listed here at 20,000.
20, did you say 7?
It's 7,000.
7. Correct. I was even willing to be a little bit less uncomfortable with a line identified that came in higher, but we're talking about a line that wasn't identified.
Yeah.
And previously described as normal course of business. So I'm uncomfortable with that, that's all. And so is there anything else, normal course of business, that's not identified on here?
That I anticipate, no.
Okay.
And, you know, to that, you know, you don't need to do this.
I get the
contract.
contingency aspect of it. Once we start digging around and there's money set aside for that, it's fine. It's just
Right. Nobody likes surprises.
how I understood this when I first looked at it was that this is covered by either the original design or the contract amendment 01 alpha. So your 245,000 in fees, you know, and then this would be 15 coming out of that to them as a sub. And that's not the case. So I'm just trying to make sure if there's more of this, we'd like to know about it.
Right, yeah, I apologize, that wasn't spelled out as a line item, and I don't anticipate any other future amendments, and this is a cost that would be borne by the project. It's just a matter of whether you're paying the contractor to do it, or you're paying Snyder to do it, but if we don't move forward with this amendment, that's fine. We'll just have to have Garling amend their contract to include it.
No, fortunately, the bids came back with ample room against the estimate, but I want my point to still stand. I just don't want surprises.
I agree.
Any categories on this sheet that show up. Dollar amounts move, I get it, but the categories.
But am I understanding it right that if we could have had the contractors bid this in, so it would have just been in the bid, which would have been, you know,
Fair enough?
just higher, but.
Fair enough, and it would have gone into something I
think their
can't
request
see.
is fair, but,
Right.
I mean, honestly, they came back to me and said, do you want the city of Atkins to have Snyder do it, or does the city of Atkins want Garland?
One of the problems with that in the past that we've had, especially with
Or not Garland?
contracts on other projects here, if we have that into the contract with them, then they have to interface with Snyder to get the information, and that increases the overall cost, and they know that, so they build it into their fees. That's why historically we've done with Snyder, and it always has to be at the very end as an add-on, because we don't know what the project is until we get the bids let. They don't want to go off and estimate on something until they have the firm bids and know what the project is before they do the engineering.
Yeah, that's correct. But to your point, Trevor, we'll make sure projects moving forward, I take that criticism positively, so we'll add that as a line item just to help eliminate that as a surprise for other clients.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Do we have a motion to approve the resolution for the contract amendment number 2?
Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Have a second?
I was thinking.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll
I
call.
was not able to hear. I was not able to hear why this is needed. Anybody that's in those talks in the background, you can't hear them. You can hear Trevor, you can hear you, but anybody in the background without a speaker, you can't hear them.
We'll take the,
Can they come up?
we'll take the microphone and move it over to the podium.
What's
that?
That one is this one.
It's the-
Sorry, yes, that one works.
Okay.
I would've said that.
So Dave will, Dave, to that note, we'll go ahead and have have Al provide the explanation.
Sure. Dave, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So, yeah, I apologize for that. This is a contract amendment for construction staking. So that is locating the building, locating the drives. And that is something that we've gotten from Snyder and Associates. So since they do the drawings, it's again, best practice for them to do the staking. That way they ensure the building and the drives get located per the plans. And then we're running that contract under ours since they're our sub-consultant. The other option would be to not move forward with this amendment and then have Garling amend their contract to include those services, which they would have to hire a different company, a different surveying company to get Snyder's files and then stake it on the site. But there's, unfortunately, that introduces a possibility of another layer of handoff and possible human error. Does that summarize it
So
for you?
again, Trevor, then, I have to agree with Trevor. My point would be, if things aren't called out, how can we ever understand where we're gonna be financially on a project when something is hidden behind the scenes? And I don't care if you call it hidden behind the scenes, you can call it anything you want. But there was not a council member that was on this, that at least a current council member that was on this, that knew about this fee. So, again, I'm with Trevor. I think we need all costs up front. And if you other council members are saying, this is the way it's always been, then why didn't we discuss it? Why didn't we bring it forward? Those things need to be discussed, because that's part of the project cost.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Al. Okay, we have the roll call vote. Jim Kane,
Aye.
Trevor Dursky,
Aye.
E.J. Bell,
Aye.
Samantha Peterson,
Aye.
David Fisher.
I'm going to say aye, but I tell you what, it's frustrating to me, the way we're doing business, and it needs to stop.
Motion carries. Moving on to item number 6, resolution approving the award of the tree removal project. And that is to S2 Construction. In the amount of $29,980. This is a long-awaited project to remove the diseased trees within the right-of-way and city-owned property within Atkins. So, Nick, I'll have you go ahead and give your presentation, Nick Eisenbacher.
Yeah, as Bruce alluded to, so we got quotes for tree removal of kind of the remaining deceased trees from, leftover from derecho. So we got those quotes last Tuesday. 3 quotes, with the lowest being S2 Construction out of Bellevue at $29,980. I don't have what we estimated, but I want to say it was in like the $40,000 range for EOPC, so good bids.
There's no concern with that big difference there.
Sure.
I'm like, it is doing everything, correct?
Yeah, they never got a response as to
They reached out.
they were,
See if they
it seemed like they're
were-
okay with their
they were
numbers, so.
Okay.
No, it
Sounds good.
happens.
Like one wanted the job, one didn't want the job.
We always wonder if they always have a crew in the area or something like that.
Yeah, no, fine. I just,
So engineer recommends approval. So do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, the roll call vote would be Jim Kane,
Aye.
Trevor Dursky,
Aye.
E.J. Bell,
Aye.
Samantha Peterson,
Aye.
David Fisher.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Hallelujah. The tree's only gonna come down every 4 years, 5 years. Oh, yours isn't coming down, Tom? That'll come down.
I had one like this come down out of my yard that hit last week too. They just keep falling down.
Okay, moving on to item number 7. Resolution approving the award of the water tower exterior painting project. Viking Painting of Nebraska, amount of $25,900. We have Nick Eisenbacher presenting on that project.
So this is the one, where we're painting kind of the base of the tower and the power wash and everything. This was in the CIP that we budgeted for. Unfortunately, this is the outlier of today's quotes and bids. This was a little higher than our EOPC. The contractor that actually won at Viking was the one that we worked with to get the OPC. So I'm not sure why all of a sudden it went up from their end, but
What was the original?
it was around 20,000 is what I had in my head. So it's
That's what we had in the budget.
Yeah.
It was 20. Tower maintenance.
so. But I still recommend approving it as they're kind of the low responsible bid. They've done a lot of work here in the city and I don't have any reason to believe that it would drastically decrease if we, the city waited to do this work, so.
Another one of those situations, one's a lot higher than the other.
Yeah, since Viking, and we've kind of worked with Viking on a lot of projects, I'm not too surprised because they kind of know, they're familiar with Atkins, they're familiar with the tower, they're familiar. They did the previous work a year and a half ago, so.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Okay, thank you, Nick. We have a motion to approve Viking Painting.
Motion to approve. A second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Roll call vote would be Jim Kane.
Aye.
Trevor Dursky.
Aye.
EJ Bell.
Aye.
Samantha Peterson.
Aye.
David Fisher.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 8 is a resolution approving the award of the pond outlet repair project to Eastern Iowa Excavating and Concrete, $35,598.50. And Nick Eisenbacher presented.
So this is also one of the CIP projects that we had on city CIP. We got 5 quotes last Tuesday on this one, ranging from 35,600 roughly to 82,000. So another large spread. However, we've done a lot of projects with Eastern Iowa, so they're a reputed company and they do good work. So I can only guess, but this project sets up perfect for winter work. So it could just be they need to keep some crews busy and keep things going. So I recommend approval of this and get this project going as well.
That again came in well below.
What was the original on that one?
75.
Because that's right over there by my house. So I'm happy about that one.
This includes connecting the sidewalk too, right?
Yeah, so this would be,
I think that's a big one.
Because it'll connect.
Residents in that.
It'll
area.
connect across the street, yeah.
And you can, instead of crossing 2 streets, if you were on the other side,
Correct.
trying to walk or run, you just straight shot there.
This will actually help my ditch.
Good for you. I'm glad to hear that.
All right.
Probably shouldn't say that out loud.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it. We have a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
I'll second this one.
No, this is a good one for a lot of things.
It's like half the price of what it was a couple years ago.
Any further comments? Questions? Okay, moving on to the roll call vote. Jim Kane.
Aye.
Trevor Dursky.
Aye.
EJ Bell.
Aye.
Samantha Peterson.
Aye.
David Fisher.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to item 9, resolution of city council support of a supermajority vote for the city administrator appointment.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I have some concerns on this. If we're going to require a supermajority for some things, where do we draw the line between having a supermajority for all things? And are we going to get into any kind of a legal issue if we have to have a supermajority to hire? We also have to have a supermajority to fire? I just think we're opening up a can of worms here and setting up something that I'm not sure even meets the Iowa codes as far as I've been able to see. I don't know how the council has unlimited power and stuff, but there's still, when you start requiring different votes for different things, I think that's opening up some legal issues that I have some real concerns about.
Sandy, did you?
I did. I talked to our city attorney, Doug Herman. He said it is a first that he's ever seen this kind of resolution. Certainly discussions of these kinds of actions have occurred, but this was the first kind of formal action that he had seen. His comment was to Councilor Kane's point, state law requires a majority vote to pass resolutions. Yeah, there are certain circumstances that the state code requires supermajorities. The example would be, a rezoning where there's a certain percentage of neighbors that are objecting, for example, requires supermajority. The resolution is certainly written in a way that it is expressing council support for this, that the council desires. What Doug had absolutely seen before is when council expresses a desire to have a 5-0 vote, frankly, to hire an administrator. We've all, I think, heard that around the table, and that is a common comment by councils. In this case, again, this is kind of the first time it's been in writing. He did not think that the question I asked is, are there legal, concerns about it? The next action of the council, frankly, it doesn't have any staying power in the sense that you could rescind it. He does not believe that it would get in the way. It might send a great message to candidates that the council desires to work together. He thought from that standpoint, it's not a bad message to send, that the council is holding each other accountable and sending a message to candidates that you desire to come together and make this appointment as a group. But legally, there's probably not a ton of seeing it. If I don't know, if you did end up voting 3-2 to hire someone, it would stand.
It would still, that's why I'm wondering now how you could have a resolution or a law to require a supermajority.
It's not.
Unless a supermajority did that. You
Yeah.
can't have a simple majority require a supermajority, because then the next, how would you get rid of that if the next council decided to change it?
But like I started, it's not a law. Ordinances are laws, resolutions are actions of the council.
I am in line with the second part, which is, I hope what this does is gives Graham and SRG something to offer to prospective candidates, or to candidates, specifically ones that maybe would do the research and see that I can divide a council, and this council, hopefully with some momentum on getting stuff going lately, maybe indicating we're going a different road and we're committed to a more inclusive decision. So, yeah, and when we talked about it at the last meeting, I'm committed to this whether or not we pass this, and we can just. I voted that way. I've spoken about that a lot, and so To your point, whether it
So
has.
you're
teeth or
saying your
not-
vote really doesn't count? You'll only vote yes if there's already 3 yes votes, but you'll vote no if it's tied. So in essence, your vote literally doesn't count.
The point of
But
it,
did in that scenario you just described, did the vote have a consequence or not?
Your vote would have no consequence, because if there was already 3 yeses, it'd pass on a simple majority, and if it was a tie, it would already have failed. So then you're actually saying that your vote literally doesn't count.
the whole point of it is to not have a prior situation that happened. The whole point is what we've been talking about, to have the council work together to make sure whoever that candidate would be comfortable knowing it's gonna be hopefully a 5-0. Hopefully this isn't even a scenario, but so that they know it was a majority, because they're coming into this position. That's the whole point of it. That's it.
Well, Doug, I think would remind you that he, was a city administrator, in the community before. And so he and I both talked about, it's possible a candidate could come in and say, my contract requirements are that I get a 5-0 vote.
Right. Exactly. And if they don't, then I absolutely seen them before. This is just, in my opinion, holding us accountable to it.
We desire to demonstrate strong support. We desire to make a commitment to a minimum supermajority. Again, I think that, from my view and how I'm approaching these duties, goes without saying, but I'm willing to support this resolution. I'm happy to see other council members do the same. I think it's necessary. To Sandy's point, she told us numerous times, in the industry, it's very hard for an administrator, city manager, clerk to take a job where they're not unanimously hired. You have some portion of your boss or bosses essentially saying they didn't want you there.
And we just don't want that. That's
No,
not fair to that
It's not
person.
fair to that person. It's not fair to the council member either, because now you set them behind trying to get information and trying to do what they need to do. So yeah, I hear you, Jim. If the concern is like it's not enforceable, fair point.
Again,
Fair point.
my concern is I want a 5-0 vote on all of our hiring. There's no getting around that, and I'll work any way I can to do that. But to pass a resolution to require that, to me, isn't reasonable. And I can't support it.
But read the resolution. To your point, I don't think that resolution required. I think the resolution is a commitment of you today.
We're formally committing to,
Appointing a candidate.
I just don't want to see it on the books as a resolution. As far as working toward that, I do, but once the resolution gets in there and it's in the books, then it is a resolution. It's not a motion.
There's nothing wrong though, Jim, with just committing as a.
I hear what you're saying, but I can't support it.
Hire someone that we all agree on.
It's,
Okay.
I mean, we'll see what the vote turns out to be.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call vote, be Jim Kane,
Nay.
Trevor Dursky.
Aye.
BJ Bell,
Aye.
Samantha Peterson,
Aye.
David Fisher.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, moving on to item number, under reports, mayor's report. Attended the ECOG meeting, attended the Benton County Conservation meeting on the Roundhouse area, canopy project. And I'd like to mention that there is training for emergency management coming up November 1 in Des Moines for City Emergency Management Conference, a one-day introduction. We've heard a lot about disasters in the last few weeks, including in Iowa and of course across the country. So that is available, and council would like to attend, contact City Hall. And also like to make a proclamation that since 1922, the National Fire Protection Association has sponsored the Fire Prevention Week in October. During this week, firefighters provide life-saving public education effort to decrease casualties caused by fire. It's observed annually in the week of October, first week of October, commemorating the Great Chicago Fire that began October 8th today in 1871. And that caused devastating damage, of course, in history. Tells us that it was devastating, of course, in the city of Chicago. Learned a lot from that. We just encourage everyone to take fire seriously. We do appreciate the firefighters volunteer in our case, in our community, but firefighters and EMS everywhere. So thank you, folks. It's a proclamation. Moving on to interim city administrator reports.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. And then council member reports. Okay, then we move on to future agenda item discussions.
Sorry, Bruce.
Sure.
I suppose we can talk in our way maybe about how we want to prioritize. We can talk later about that. We've got a list here. I think we have the topics identified. For me, it's about prioritization.
So at this time, we will open the public gallery for items that are not on the agenda for comments to the city council. We'd ask you to be identified and then proceed to the podium, and you would have 3 minutes to address the council. Anyone like to speak to the council tonight in public forum? Okay, hearing none. Seeing none. We will ask for item number 12, require a motion of the council to enter closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.5 1I. It's to evaluate the professional competency of an individual. So employment, hiring, performance, or discharge is being considered necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to that individual's reputation, and that individual requests a closed session. The person has requested a closed session. So at this time, I'd ask for the city council to make a motion to enter closed session.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Motion in a second. Further discussion? Okay, hearing none, the roll call vote, Jim Kane.
Aye.
Trevor Dursky.
Aye.
E.J. Bell.
Aye.
Samantha Peterson.
Aye.
David Fisher.
Aye.
Motion carries. So at this time at 7:23 p.m., City Council will close session. We'd ask the public to exit the room. That's right. We'll terminate the